How do you find Will Smith in the snow? Look for Fresh Prince. Hey guys, it's Taylor's Gun Toting Atheist, and today I'm going to tell you why I support Bernie Sanders. Alright, so number one, Bernie Sanders is the former senator of Vermont. Now, according to gunsandammo.com, Vermont is the second gun-friendliest state in the Union. Gunsandammo.com ranks all the states in the Union based on criteria of the right to carry, restrictions of tactical aesthetic appearance, state restriction of federal NFA access, Castle Doctrine, and a variety of other factors. Arizona is the most gun-friendly state in the Union, followed by Vermont, Alaska, and Utah. And for the record, Texas, you are number 15. Find the link in the description below for this link. Find the link in the description below for this list. Also, there's a link down below where you can find my sources for all this information on Bernie Sanders. Back to the point. Bernie Sanders is a former senator of Vermont, which means, theoretically, that he's very pro-gun and he understands the root cause of gun problems. And it's not the existence of guns, especially if you're the senator of the second most gun-friendly state in the Union. Bernie Sanders supports family values. The way he emphasizes this is that he wants 12 weeks minimum guaranteed family and sick leave annually. This is extremely important because, as we all know, the child development of a child... This is extremely important because, as we all know, parental exposure during the child's first few months is extremely important to child development. And as we've seen in several of the Scandinavian nations that have better education reform than the United States has, their children tend to grow up more intelligent. The system that Bernie Sanders wants to implement that's going to pay for this is going to get paid from insurance just like Social Security is now. It's going to cost the worker about what it costs to buy a cup of coffee per week. Bernie Sanders wants to add a tax to Wall Street to make college tuition free. Now, personally, I'm against this. I think people should have to work if they want to go to college. And telling your entire population that they should all go to college is a problem, because then you inundate the job market with all these people that are too qualified to do basic entry-level jobs. If you don't tell your entire population to go to college, and you're only sending your brightest to college, then the system could work out really well. Your mom goes to college. Oh! Bernie Sanders thinks prescription drug costs are too high. Again, I disagree with the core tenet of the issue. Pills aren't the solution to every single problem. But for something like HIV treatment or prescription blood thinners, you shouldn't have to spend a fortune for people to live a decent, healthy life. Remember, I'm all for the wealthy people taking advantage of the idiots, but if you invent medicine, it should be assumed that you did it for the interest of mankind, not the interest of man. Bernie Sanders wants to expand VA funding and care provisions. I'm a veteran with disability, so I have a little bit of authority on this topic. VA, it's a big, slow, cumbersome system. Processing takes forever. It's at least 9 months from the filing date to the time that you get to see if you're even eligible for disability. That being said, the VA does take care of its own. My biggest problem is the wait time for my monthly visits. What I go to the VA for should be something that I need to be seeing for weekly, not monthly. Bernie Sanders' plan to expand care funding and care providers within the VA benefits me, and it's going to make sure that I get the healthcare access that I need. Bernie Sanders supports the LGBT community. He also supports women's rights by wanting to close the pay gap, expand and protect reproductive rights for women, and make childcare and pre-K available to all Americans. One of my favorite things about Bernie Sanders is that he wants to get big money out of politics. To date, he is the only presidential candidate running for a 2016 office that has not accepted a super PAC from a company. Another thing that I love about Bernie Sanders is that while he was a senator in Vermont, he always ran as independent. He only switched to running as Democrat when he decided to run for president. I imagine the only reason he did this is because of our widely failing two-party system. And the number one thing that everyone should love about him is that both parties hate him. I think they're more afraid of him than anything else. There's one thing that I hate about Bernie Sanders. It's minimum wage. He wants to raise tipped and regular federal minimum wage to $15 an hour, which is fine. I understand why people want that. But if you increase the minimum wage, you encourage companies to find cheaper alternatives to cheap labor, such as using machines in manufacturing jobs, directing calls, and even taking orders at restaurants. McDonald's has already done this in at least one of their locations. Alright, let's give Bernie the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he bans or at least regulates using machines in job positions. But now you're inducing inflammation. If a company has to pay more money to minimum wage workers, CEOs aren't going to be pressed to pay that money out of pocket. Instead, they're going to raise costs of the product. This is going to have a cascade effect all the way from the producer and the manufacturers all the way to the retailer. So by the time that wonderful seedless watermelon gets to your kitchen table, it's going to be dollars on the pound instead of pennies. And all this time, there's no more of that money getting in the pockets of farmers. All in all, I think Bernie Sanders is the best man for the job. And even though I despise one thing about him, is it really worse than the United States becoming a maximum security prison like Donald Trump wants? Or a rainbow-colored daycare center like Hillary Clinton's gonna turn us into? Thanks for watching. And if you liked the video, go ahead and click the like button and subscribe. Also, you can follow us on Facebook at Gun-Toting Atheist. I'm not really gonna prove a point here, I just need an excuse to drink. I'm gonna drink the shit out of some chocolate milk.